This is Crystal with Reality Check right here on Rolling Out. Now, if you are watching this broadcast on Facebook, I need you to immediately like and share this conversation. And if you are watching on YouTube on From Crystal with Love XO, please make sure that you like, and share this conversation. You guys know we are back. I am feeling it because we are back with Ready to Love, right? Earlier in this evening, we had a beautiful interview with the gospel queen, Yolanda Adams. If you didn't get a chance to hear that, make sure that you go back in the archives. That conversation was at 8 o'clock, but tonight, it is the night hour. And so we are here with Ready to Love. Also, if you did not catch the recap of Ready to Love, we recapped the first episode. You would want to go to OWN's YouTube channel. Myself and my partner, my handsome co-host Kojo from Little Black Book 91, he recapped. We sat down and kind of recapped the first episode on OWN's YouTube channel, Ready to Love recap. Make sure you check that out. But today, I'm excited. That happened earlier today, but tonight we have one of the very first people to leave this season. So we're going to get all in his Kool-Aid, ask his opinion, get some feelers out on everybody else and get into it. So please help me welcome tonight's guest. It's the one and only Calvin from Ready to Love Miami. Welcome, Calvin.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for being here. You are the first one. So you get a chance, like I told you before we started, you can tell us whatever you want about everybody else because you are our first peek into Ready to Love Miami. So I'm excited to have you here. We did the recap earlier today. And like I said, you left before anything bad happened. So, all we know is that you fit the physical that was asked for, and it seemed like, I was hopeful. I was really hopeful about you staying on the show. So how did you come, Calvin? How did you come to be a part of the cast of Ready to Love Miami?
Well, they reached out to me. I thought it was a joke, to be honest with you. I thought I was being punked. They reached out to me and I didn't respond. And they reached out to me again and I responded. And they gave me the whole, procedures and how it happened. And to be honest with you, I've never seen Ready to Love before until they actually reached out to me.
Wow.
That's why I said I thought it was a joke because I've never seen the episode before. I've never seen the show. I never even heard about it. So I took some time to watch it. And as I was watching it, I can honestly say I'm a private person.
Okay.
So for me personally, I was like, I don't know if this fits me. I don't know if this fits me. But as I started to speak to some of the producers, as they started giving me a little bit more about the show. And the one thing they did tell me about the show, which was true, and it sold me, was that it wasn't really a reality show on that level. Right? Like where it has a lot of raunchiness, a lot of ratchetness, and all of that. So once I heard that, professional, Black people, Black women, I was excited. So I decided to do it.
Okay. Now, I did check out your social media, and it does appear that you are pretty private. You're not obviously super into social media. You don't have a lot of consistent posts. So I was like, you know what, this guy, I think that the viewers, and they're already in the chat. Hey, chat, make sure you guys like and share and chime in with your questions so I can share them with Calvin. But I think the audience has been a little skeptical of people coming on the show with an agenda, right? Coming on the show, trying to, instead of really finding love, really looking for an opportunity to get their own publicity up and all that kind of stuff. So when I looked at your social media, I was like, he just looks like a real person. He looks like someone that, I did see, some posts that were encouraging other people to continue looking for love. So I was wondering, I'm like, how are you single? Because it seemed like you have some pretty good advice for singles out there, at least from your posts. So where were you at in your relationship status? Were you dating? Are you advising others? Where are you at, Calvin? Before
you know what they say, those that don't do teach. Right? So I was good at telling people, and I love to see black love. I can honestly say that. I love to see people, I love to see love. So although I'm not actually even looking for love, I'm preparing myself for my queen,
Okay.
right? So during this journey, when I'm actually helping others, it helps me.
Yeah.
Because there's sometimes when I'm speaking to others, and you know how it is. Sometimes when you're talking to others and you're telling them about relationships, you be like, "Damn, that was for me. That was good."
Yeah. I agree with
so,
that.
so honestly, as I'm on this journey helping others, it's actually very therapeutic for me to be
Okay.
able to help others. There's a lot of things when I'm speaking to others, I actually find it within myself.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the things I was actually telling others, I was like, I may need to practice that.
Okay.
I may need to practice what I was preaching. So I actually it helped me during the time. And again, like I said, I'm not really looking for love. I'm just preparing myself for my queen. So during this time, as I'm the journey within myself,
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding a lot of things about myself where I'm like, fix that, fix that, fix that.
I
So
love it. We have a self-aware man, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. I love it. Well, Calvin, when was your last relationship? How long have you been single?
It probably has been a year, over a year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been over a year. We was just in different places at different time.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you. What I was looking for and what she was looking for was two totally different things. There wasn't nothing wrong with her, and like similar to what you were saying, I always try to walk away from something trying to realize where I went wrong or what
Okay.
could I have done differently or how I could fix it. Not necessarily to move back into that relationship, but to
Mm-hmm.
actually move forward into the next relationship and take pieces from that. So although it didn't work, it isn't really what you walk away from, is what you walk away with, you know.
Okay. Okay, Calvin, dropping the nuggets. Dropping the nuggets early on. So yeah. So have you been married before, or were you engaged before, or was this just a girlfriend? What was the nature of your relationship?
Yeah, no, I've never been married. I've never been engaged. To be honest with you, I've been in long relationships before, 6-year relationships, but, I was never ready mentally, emotionally, financially. I wasn't ready. So although I met really good women, beautiful inside and out, I knew that I wasn't ready. And because I take marriage so seriously and because it means so much to me, because I've never seen it in my family,
Okay.
I wanted to make sure I did it right. And I knew I wasn't ready for that. And in the Bible, it says, when you're a child, you speak as a child,
You better
understood as a
quote the
child, and talk as a child. And when it's time, you put away childish things. During that time, I wasn't putting away childish things,
scripture.
to be honest with you.
You were with the childish things. You were with it. You were with
Yeah, I was with it. I was with it. And because I've never seen it before, I didn't know. It took me longer to get there. I've never seen it. So I had to try to understand it and learn it and be around it,
Mhm.
and I didn't want to get into a relationship and destroy anybody, and make them, regretful in a relationship. So I didn't go that route.
Wow, that is again very insightful. Emma says yes, speak Calvin. Kathy says yes, sir. That is insightful. I want to ask you, because that's interesting, and I think a lot of men go ahead and try to, maybe because their emotions are to where they like the woman or they're in love with the woman, they want to, and they know they're not ready. So, in your opinion, what things does a man need to have in place in order to be ready? Because you named that you weren't ready emotionally, you weren't ready financially, you just weren't. There was a lot of things that weren't all lining up for that. So, just in your personal opinion, what do you think needs to happen for you? Where do you need to be at as a man in order to be ready to actually potentially be a husband?
I think you have to have the capacity, having the capacity to be able to pour into someone. A lot of people go into relationship going there, me. But when you're with someone, you should be their plus one.
Yeah.
You should be able to sit at the table and be able to say, here is what I can add to you, and
Mhm.
here is what I can pour into you. And that person will also pour back into them, if you're meeting the right person that's a giver. So there's different things that different people want. We all have different love languages. We all have different things that we need, and require. So when you're meeting someone, it's being able to understand what their need is, what their desires are, and hopefully they're actually reciprocity, giving it back to you, maybe not what you're giving them, but what you need within yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's different for different people, and a lot of people sometimes go into it with an agenda. you
Yeah.
know, they go into it more for convenience rather than going into it with love and good intentions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's very true. I want to get into the ready to love, but you're giving us such good gems and nuggets with this. Let me ask you this, because I think, there's a lot of conversation on social media, and I think that's why one of the reasons Ready to Love is such a popular show for so many people in this demographic is because everybody wants love. I don't care,
Mhm.
what's happened. You could have been hurt in your past and feel like you don't, but in our core, that's just who we're created to be. And so there's always conversation on relationships. We see stuff on social media with both sides, kind of, women that have been hurt talking slick towards men that have been hurt talking slick towards women. And there's a lot of conversation about what a man needs to bring to the table, what a woman needs to bring to the table. How do you feel about that? That whole idea of, like, a man has to be financially secure in order for him to even want to date. There are some people that believe a man needs to be of a certain financial means before he's even out here entertaining women. And then there are other people that feel like, you just come as you are and you build together. So what's your take on that whole idea of, like, where you would want to be financially, maybe where you would want the person that you're dating to be financially? Because really we're in a culture that is, everybody has different expectations, right?
Mhm.
So what are your expectations on yourself, and what are your expectations for a woman that you would want to date?
You know, I believe that you have to be what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't ask for something that you're not willing or ready to give.
Right.
What you demand, you should be able to supply.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's the reality check for tonight. What you demand, you should be able to supply. I love that.
Yeah. So if you're coming to the table, don't come to the table with just your appetite.
Mm,
Come to the table bringing something.
right.
And again, different people require different things. You may meet somebody that just may not require you to bring financially, or they just sometimes just need your support, your love, your loyalty, this and that. So it varies with different people, but it's sitting across from that table and saying, listen, here is how I can add to your relationship. For me personally, I don't really have a list on what I'm looking for, but
Mm-hmm.
I have one demand, and that
Okay.
is that you love yourself.
Okay.
Because if you love yourself, then you can love me.
Mm,
And that's required. That's so necessary. I meet a lot of people that don't love themselves.
yeah.
And I know what that feels like because I've been there before. Giving the wrong things, supplying the wrong things, insecurities, and trying to be able to be in a relationship, but I didn't love me, so how can I love them? So I've been there before. I know what it looks like.
Mm,
And what happens typically is they give you what they will give themselves.
mm,
you
yeah,
know, and if they don't value them, they won't value you.
that's true.
So a lot of times what ends up happening is they kind of treat you like what's on a clearance rack. They don't understand the value of who you are.
Right.
So what you may get in Burlington and what you may get in the Burberry store is different. It may be the same brand, but the value is different. And
Yeah.
you have to understand who you're with and who you're dealing with to understand the value of them so that you can appreciate them.
Right.
So again, I don't have a list. I just need you to love yourself.
I love it, Calvin. I really was upset when you had to leave, and I feel like, man, we really miss. Hopefully that you can come back. Maybe you need to come back and help Tommy counsel the other guys. No, we want to see you find love also. Well, you guys, if you're just joining, please come in and have a seat, pull up a chair, and get into this. We are talking with the first gentleman from Ready to Love Miami. Mr. Calvin is here, and he's dropping some relationship gems that I'm all for it. I love everything that he said so far. Now we know that often what you say and what you do can sometimes conflict, but
Mm,
let's see, Calvin, take us into your in your thought process when you decided to go ahead and do this, right? And the producers kind of started giving you more information about the show. What was your expectation, or what were you looking forward to once you made the decision to go ahead and commit to
mm.
Ready to Love?
I didn't really have any expectations, to be honest with you. I didn't want to go in there with any expectations because then you know what happens with expectations sometimes.
Yeah.
It could be too high, it could be too low. It's just never sometimes in the middle, you
Mm,
know. So I just went in there knowing that I was going to be me. I
okay.
didn't go in there thinking I was going to be in any competition. I didn't go in there thinking, okay, I'm going to find a baddie, right? I didn't go in there with that. You know, I went in there with being open. And that's the one thing they did mention to me. I
Okay.
went in there being open and being willing to try something out of my comfort zone. And
Mm,
that's really out of my comfort zone. I'm not used to approaching women. That's not really who I
really?
am. No, yeah, I don't do that.
So you know what? A few other guys said that on the show as well, and I said, I've said this about this season and a few other seasons of Ready to Love. They've done a great job of getting a beautiful cast of beautiful women, very very attractive men, and I was actually surprised to see so many men say. I think Devin said that, and a couple other guys said that. Now you're saying that they don't approach women. So how are you guys hunters but not hunting? What's happening, Robin?
You know, my pastor used to say this. She says, you don't even have to put bait on the hook anymore. They're just jumping in the boat, right? So all you have to do is go down the stream. So a lot of times what ends up happening is women are usually more aggressive these days.
Oh, okay.
They're very aggressive. You know, and it could be good and it could be bad because
Yeah,
it depends how you're being aggressive.
right.
You know, so a lot of times before you could even hunt, the food is already there, ready to go, right?
Do you prefer it that way?
It depends. You know, everything presentation matters with everything that you do.
Mhm,
You
mhm,
know, but for me personally, when I see a woman, I'm very strategic. I need to be able to see everything, how you move, who's around you, who you deal with. Because if I see you with a certain guy that is a certain status, and I don't
mhm,
feel like he's not only how he looks, but how he treats you, if he's opening the door for you, if he's walking in front of you, if he's not holding your hand, something of that nature, I don't care if it's a friend, then
mhm.
it tells me a lot about what your values and what your morals is. And typically that won't be the woman that I would date, that I would want to go after. It would usually be a woman that holds herself to a high standard and high expectations.
Mm,
You
okay.
know, because if you are dealing with a certain man or you're around a certain man, again, whether it's a friend or whoever, and he treats you a certain way, then it kind of tells me a lot about how you may think. It's not a negative thing. It's not
Okay.
negative. But because I think differently,
It's not for you.
we won't balance out.
Oh wow. Okay. Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, would had this conversation going on his page, and he would say that men judge women by the other men in their past, right? And he would say, if looking at, especially if a man you have children with or a man you were married to, another man, if he sees himself of a different status, is not going to want to be with a woman that has entertained men that are not on his level. It
Mm-hmm.
sounds like you kind of agree with that.
Yes, it's almost like moving into a neighborhood. When you move into a neighborhood, you like the neighborhood to look a certain way. So when I see you dating a certain man and you allowed him to move in, then it brought the property value down.
Ooh, whew.
So I look at it to say, like, you brought the property value down on this one. So I was ready to pay top price and top value for this house. But
Mm,
you let this person move into the neighborhood and redesign and change everything and destroy the property value of something that was so beautiful, that was supposed to be higher than what you gave it for. So for me personally, when I see that, I agree with that 1000%. When I see
wow.
that, I'm like, I don't know if me and you will we off. We
Yeah.
on the line.
Wow. That's, you know what? I it, that would be interesting if women did that also, because a lot of times you look at a person's ex and you think, what? what
Yeah,
what were
yeah,
you thinking, or what were your priorities? Obviously this woman prioritizes something different, and is obvious in the way she moves. So I guess we all need to start taking inventory. That does tell you a lot about the person.
it
Um,
does.
so last question, then we're gonna get on into Ready to Love. Sister Whirlwind asks, so if she was everything you want, are you going to go talk to her? So if you see this woman and you've had a chance to kind of watch her and you like her, the company she's keeping, the way she handles herself, do you approach, or do you sit back and have her try to set up a situation where she will approach you? Or how I'm just trying to figure out, the hunting is not happening.
No, I would hunt, but I have to hunt for something that makes me want to go into my bag.
Oh, okay.
Something that makes me now have to raise the level on how I'm going to approach her. So if I see a beautiful woman that carries herself a certain way, now
Mhm.
I know I have to step it up. So it brings out the best in me. It makes me have to approach her a certain way. I can't just walk up to her and be like, yo, what up, shorty? Can't do that. I have to be able to walk up to her a certain way and be able to. So I like that hunting, to be able to go after something I really want. So I
Mhm.
have no problem approaching something that brings out the best in me.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a great transition. Let's get into it. What did you see anything at the mixer? Did you have a chance to kind of observe? I mean, we know that you guys were there for an extended period of time. We see a really short clip of everything kind of put together and edited to make for an hour long premiere, but I'm sure you guys were there for a long time. So, did you see things that that inspired you to want to hunt? Were there anything that you were interested in at the mixer?
Yeah, there was a lot of beautiful women, a lot of beautiful queens there. Again, unfortunately, I didn't really get a chance to mingle with everyone. I got a chance to mingle with Brandy.
Mm,
She had a very beautiful spirit. She was so down to earth,
yeah.
and I love that about her. There was another young lady. I cannot remember her name. I know it just started with a K. It wasn't Kayla. Um,
Okay.
it started with a K. I know she had like a cast on. She had the cast on her hand when she
Oh,
first
okay,
came.
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're
Yeah,
talking
that was actually the first young lady that I saw when I walked in, and me and her got to talking, and she had a very beautiful spirit as well. Looney was also. We didn't get a chance to talk, but we did get a chance to kind of like, see each other. Another beautiful. I can tell she had a beautiful spirit, and it showed even with, when the show came on. So I like people that have that type of spirit and that energy.
about.
Everyone else, I didn't really get a chance to mingle like that and get to know them. But those are three women that I thought was very, like, beautiful inside and out. And I love their energy. I
Okay.
love people, how you walk into a room and you could sense somebody's energy. I
Mhm.
sense their energy was good.
Okay. And I have to ask you, we all like energy, but we all enjoy being physically attracted as well. I have a little formula that I think works. I think you have to have physical chemistry or attraction. You have to have there has to be regular chemistry. So you can be attracted to somebody, but you guys may not have like that chemistry, or that
Mhm.
you don't get their jokes, they don't get yours, as we saw with Sean and
Yeah.
Jay, like not getting his humor. He
Yeah.
didn't get her. He didn't pick up on the fact that she wasn't. So that type of thing, that vibe, that interaction. So you have to have physical attraction or physical chemistry, regular, ongoing chemistry, and then lastly, like lifestyle compatibility, right?
Mm,
So
mm, mm.
let's talk about the first thing, physical attraction. Like, do you have a physical type? Is there anything that you are definitely, that's making your head snap when you see it, or your neck snap when you see it walk by?
I'm into fitness, so it's very important that a woman takes care of herself physically. And
Mhm.
that doesn't necessarily mean you need to be in the gym, but
Okay.
just take care of yourself.
Okay.
I need you to, I can't love something that you don't love. So I need to be able to look at you and say, wow, you know. So physically is And again, it changes. You just have to have your own style. You
Mm-hmm.
know, being out here in Florida, it's a little bit different for me because I meet a lot of people that look the same.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from New York.
Oh, okay. All right.
So, so you know, yeah.
Got gotcha. All
Yeah.
right. That's totally different.
So I moved out here almost 4 years ago.
Okay.
So, you know, it's different. And my expectations, maybe they were a little bit too high.
Okay.
Maybe I was looking differently. So it matters how you take care of yourself and how you carry yourself. I need that sexy energy,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, and then mentally, I need you to I need to be mentally stimulated.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I figured just from your conversation, and even not that there are certain things that go with certain areas, but definitely New York is it's like a more of a sapiosexual type, depending on
Mhm.
what you're doing. I
Yeah.
need to know that you know that you got a little bit of common sense, that you got a little bit of, a lot of things go into it more than just the physical, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Any other things that are turnoffs when it comes to women physically? Because people in the chat, are talking about weave or different things, and I definitely have no problem doing weave. I know that my audience has a lot to say about it, and I'm fine with listening to it. But are there any other things that are turnoffs for you when it comes to women as far as just the physical? Because that doesn't have anything to do with what's inside.
Hmm. Hmm. Now, you know, listen, I've dated black women, different types of black women. I'm used to the weave. It's all good. Just keep it up.
Hey,
Listen, I hope you listen. Whatever we got to do, let's just make it do what it do. Like, listen, if you understand black women, you understand all of that, and you'll love it all. You
yeah,
know.
but I will say there are some black men that do appreciate black women and don't like weave and don't like tattoos or don't like, and that's fine. Everybody should have their preference. I don't take offense if I've heard men say I don't like weave. My ex-husband hated weave and hated.
Mm,
He was like, "You have long hair. Why do you have weave?" And I'm like, "Cause I like it."
mm,
But everybody has their preference, and that's fine. So,
yeah.
okay, so you're more of I like that, Calvin, more of internal. You know, as long as she got what she got and has her own style and can rock it, you're
Mhm.
fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Listen, I
can't.
want her. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. What are you
You
saying?
know, there's going to be things that I'm going to want her to love about me as well that maybe wasn't on her list.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like in the Bible, it says love is patient,
Yeah.
right? So
Yes.
you sometimes you need people to be patient. You need people sometimes to adjust to certain things. You know, so for me, I want to love the things I don't love about you. You know, so I'm not even
Yeah.
thinking about those things. I'm not even thinking about what I don't like. I'm usually when I walk into the room, when I'm approaching someone, I'm looking at what I do love about you and
Yeah.
focusing on those things, not is that a scratch? Is that a scar? Is that I'm not really doing that because I don't want nobody to do that to me.
That is grown man conversation. How old are you, Calvin?
45.
45. See, ladies, this sometimes it's so funny because I think that men often, and for you saying, sharing with us early on that when you were younger, I'm sure, there were women that probably would have wanted you to snatch them up and take them down the aisle. You just weren't ready.
Yeah.
This conversation with a 45-year-old man, this is a man that is ready. And it's so funny how a lot of times women, we want men to get there faster because that may be what we want, but it's better to let it bake, let him
Mm,
cook, let him get it
mm,
all ready so that
mm,
when he is ready, he'll be the right one. And if he's not there for you, then so that it'll be another one that's the right one. But I
mm.
love how organically you seem to have matured and now you understand that you are ready for this. So you come on the show, you come to the mixer. What is the vibe like? Give us an insight. Like I said, you are our first conversation, so we want to know, what did it feel like? I mean, the women are there in bikinis and all. It's a lot happening. What
Yeah,
is the vibe when you get to the mixer, Calvin?
you said it right. It was a lot happening. It was a lot. It was a lot. I'll be honest with you. It was a lot for me. I felt like I was at a club again, you
Okay,
know, because
yeah,
it was just a lot going on, but a lot of beautifulness, you
yeah,
know. So it was lot. It was hot. It was hot, hot in weather, hot as in everything going on, cameras, everything. So, and then it was like speed dating. So you got to go, you got to go, you got to find somebody, you got to see somebody, you got to go,
Mhm.
So for me, it was, again, it was out of my element. It was a lot going on. I was trying to talk to one person and then pivot and talk to this person. And I'm like, okay, where do I go from here? Do this person look good? So it was a lot going on. And it seemed like there was a lot of good energy though.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, it seemed like there was a lot of good energy, a
Mhm.
lot of laughing, a lot of people that seemed like they were ready to mingle.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
even in that hot sun, all of us was melting. All
Yeah.
of us was
Yeah.
melting. But everyone looked like they were in good spirits, good energy, and ready to just move forward. And it was like it was almost like a jet trying to lock into your target. So you may have saw somebody and then saw somebody else walk in, and you're like, I'm going after her.
I'm going. So the ladies that you mentioned to us, were you zeroing in on those ladies? Did any of them approach you? Because that is the comfort zone. How did those interactions happen?
I think it just happened organically.
Okay.
When I first walked in, the young lady, again, I apologize, I cannot remember her name. But the young lady I told you with the cast, we as soon as we walked in, she paid me a compliment, and we just kicked it off from there. We started talking, everything was cool, we was cracking jokes, and then we went to the bar, and then spun off, and then it was Brandy, and me and her started talking, and because we're in the same field,
Mm-hmm.
um, in airlines and aviation, we got a chance to be able to talk, kick off of that. And again, her energy was good, and then everyone else just, it was almost like, again, pivoting, talking to this person, speed dating. Like,
Yeah.
what's your name? What's this? What's this going on? So, everyone was really cool. It wasn't really targeting anyone. As I was sitting down and nephew Tommy was there or the cameras weren't rolling, then I started to lock in on people like, hmm, I
Okay.
can see that person. I can see that person. In my own head, I was telling myself that.
Right. Right. Did you? So you were there for the first deliberation when Tommy had the guys come, because that's a part of the show, which is crazy that it happens the first episode. So the lady sent Sean home,
Mm,
and the guys actually put Sharice and Dominica
okay.
in the bottom, but Tommy ended up saving them, which I appreciate, because I think that
Mhm.
first
It's hard.
mixer is so hard, because
It's
even like
hard.
you were wishing that you had, we were wishing, everyone in the chat is wishing we had gotten a little bit more time with you. But what was your impression of that first elimination, I guess, congregation? And did you weigh in on the women that you did have a connection with and women that you didn't? What was that energy like?
You know, as I was watching the show, I was asking myself, would I have been at the bottom?
I don't think you would have been at the bottom, Calvin.
Would I
I
have been
really,
at the
there were
bottom?
there were so many other situations that um we saw a lot of other situations. Obviously, like Sean's situation, that was hard to watch. And then there was another one. You guys, we talked about it. Kojo and I talked about it earlier. Devin actually was not honest about having a child.
I'm surprised about that.
That was very unsettling. And I'm going to be honest. I do know I've had experience dating and met men that did not tell the truth about how many children they have. I have a good friend that was dating a guy, and he told her he had 4 kids. He really had 5. Like,
Wow.
that happened. So
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think you were in danger of going home. There were a lot of other situations that definitely were crazy. And I agree with Kathy. They should have had you come back as a curveball. Um,
you
but what
know,
was that?
I,
What
I
was
will I will say this. They did offer, the branch for me to come back.
okay?
So I will say this about the producers. Everyone was amazing. They
Okay.
were super supportive. They were super amazing. They were checking in on me. They wanted to make sure I was good. And they did offer me an opportunity to come back. They
Okay.
offered me an opportunity. But when I thought about it, me personally, I don't believe that if I'm not available mentally, emotionally, to be there for someone. I have an obligation. If I'm going to ask someone to do something and be
Mhm.
there, I should be there too.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I was mentally and emotionally available to be there. So
Okay.
instead of taking that chance, or instead of putting somebody through that,
Okay.
I had to tell them, if I'm not 100% sure, then
Yeah.
I can't be 100% engaged into it.
So can you so what can you share, or what do you want to share about why you had to leave the process so early?
You know, it was really a family situation, with my mother. I don't know if she wants me to put that much
Yeah, no,
information out there like that.
fine.
But, when it comes down to a family emergency for me, and it kind of threw me off because it happened so quickly. Everything was happening and trying to process the whole show,
Yeah.
that it was emotional at the time for me.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to react. I just reacted, and it was time for me to go. So I didn't see anything else but getting back to where I needed to get to,
Okay.
and you know how it is. If it's your family, if it's your moms, if it's someone that made so many sacrifices for you, it's
Mhm.
not even a question. It's not even, I have to do it 10 times, I would have did it 11.
I love that. Yeah. No, that's
And
real.
again, afterwards, I asked myself, can I come back?
Hmm.
But I didn't think I could. I didn't think I was ready to come back.
Okay. Okay.
And although I was disappointed because the
Mhm.
process of getting there
Right.
is a long process.
Tell us about the process, Calvin, because there have been some people that they say there's a long process, but it seems like people are able to infiltrate. And I wonder, like,
Good
how is
word.
the
Good
process for
word.
some of these people that we've seen in past seasons to get on and fool everybody in the process? So, what was the process like for you?
It was a lot. It was a lot. It was a lot of behind the scenes things. There's a lot of things that happens that you have to do,
Okay,
and it's a production. And when you're doing a production, you do most of the work behind the scenes.
that's true.
So if you have a job, if you have, I don't have any kids, but if you have a child, if you have a life, it's a
Hmm.
lot. You literally have to be dedicated to the show. And
Yeah,
like you said, some people come into it with different agendas. So if you have an agenda, it ain't hard.
yeah, yeah.
You
That's
just
true.
focus in on your agenda.
That's very true. That's so true.
You
That is
know,
so
so
true.
it was a lot. It was a lot going on. But I felt like if you want something, you'll put in the work. You'll
Hmm.
put in the commitment, like anything in life.
Hmm.
Just how bad do you want it? You
Judith
know.
Joseph says Calvin's a good dude. He's always making sure his mom is good. She's always been a priority. All right, Calvin, you are coming through as genuine. We love that. We love
Thank you.
the fact that we seem to have met the first person. Calvin is setting a good tone for the season, guys. Someone that is genuine and authentic and actually put what mattered first. We gotta respect that. Um, let's talk about, because so did you? Is there like do they evaluate and make sure that the stuff that you're telling them is true? I wonder sometimes about that, because sometimes we hear people give jobs or situations off and it just doesn't really line up with their actions later. So do they fact check?
I'm not 100% sure about that, but I will say that they do put you through a long process, interview process. So
Okay.
you're not just going through one person, you're going through several different people, and they're asking you a lot of questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how they fact check. I don't know how they, make sure that everything that you're saying is authentic. I don't
Right.
know.
Right. Right.
But I guess, and also it's a show, right? So sometimes you may want that. You may want
That's
somebody to come out and be like, because it
that
could probably
part.
be boring if it isn't.
That part. That part. The audience, we get upset, but it does make for good TV.
It
It does make for good TV.
does.
Um, a few people in the chat have said that you seem like a good catch and ask about you meeting other people. When you did get a chance to watch the past seasons, were there any ladies that stuck out to you as someone that you wish you would have the opportunity to meet from other seasons of Ready to Love?
If I could be totally honest with you, I only probably watched like 3 episodes of the first
Okay.
season. And the
Okay.
only reason why is because I didn't want to pick up anybody else's energy.
Okay.
I didn't want to go in there with a certain agenda. I didn't want to go in there thinking, how do I stay on? So
Hmm.
as I was watching it, I was watching it. I'm a person that examines things. I'm a
Yeah.
person that assess things. And as I was watching it, I wasn't watching it as a fan. I'm watching it like, hmm.
Yeah.
Then I had to stop.
No, that's good because a lot of times it's become so obvious that people are playing to
Yes.
win the game as opposed to winning love. Let me ask you this. So one of the things that Kojo and I talked about today, well, earlier on the recap, was the fact that Sean, who was let go first, he mentioned that being a bachelor, being, I think he was like 38 or 38 with no kids, handsome 38 with no kids, that women saw that as a red flag. So
Mm.
we see you are 45, never been married, no children. Do you think that women, and very attractive, do women see that as, do you feel like that's an issue for people that you meet?
Yeah, I do hear that. I hear women say that all the time. There's always a question mark why, and I get it. I get it. And I'm always saying to them, if you come into it looking at it that way,
Mm-hmm.
then it isn't really about me, right? Because if I don't come in with baggages, you're looking for the red flags.
Yeah,
You're looking to find something wrong. And if you look for something, you're going to find it. I'm
true.
not perfect. I'm not perfect. Again, I'm here now, and by the grace of God, I'm ready for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go down my past, the
This,
long past,
yeah.
trust me, a, a lot of things were not good. And at that time, I didn't understand it. I couldn't put the pieces together on. I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
it looked like. It's almost like how you get a puzzle and you look at the picture of the puzzle and you're like, this is how it's supposed to look like. But when
Yeah.
you dump everything on the table, you just have all these pieces and you don't know how to put it together.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't know how to put it together. I'm putting wrong pieces in the wrong places.
Well, that makes sense because a lot. I think there are a lot of us. I love the fact that you mentioned you love Black love, and I think there is a resurgence of us really understanding the importance in our community of there being of us showing that. Like, years ago, I remember when I first started as a publicist, we did not want any artist to share
Mm,
that they were in relationships, and now you see that's the powerful thing. The thing
mm,
is to be in a relationship and to show that. So I love the fact that you mentioned that, but I'm wondering, with you not seeing it, and that's so true for many of us. I didn't see a successful marriage growing up either. How do you as a man just, because you in essence want to, eventually get married and be the leader and head a household, how do you feel like you'll be able to assume that position when you haven't seen it before? Do you have mentors? Are there older men in your life that you have that you can, have conversations with, or do you think it was all just about maturing yourself? But how do you think you would kind of, I guess, because if you haven't seen something, it's hard to know how to maneuver and how to navigate when things go wrong. So, what's your opinion on how you would be able to be a good husband, knowing that that's not something that you're really familiar with?
mm. That's a good question. I made a lot of mistakes, because I didn't have the picture on what it's supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm.
So I hurt a lot of people in my life.
Yeah.
My pastor was a person that really showed me what love really is.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. He showed me how to love myself. And it really started there,
Mm-hmm.
how to love myself. He was the first person as a man to tell me I love you.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what that looked like because, saying love you to another black man telling another black man I love you came across different.
Yeah.
You didn't see that. So watching him love people, watching him love his wife,
Mm-hmm.
watching him love people that were unlovable,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
made me and showed me, gave me an example on what it is it's supposed to look like. I have a friend that I used to always have this speech, this good man speech. I used to be like, I'm a good man, I'm a good man, I'm a good man. And she used to hate hearing it.
Yeah.
And then one day she said to me, Calvin, you manifest that. You are a good man. And it
Mm-hmm.
feels so good to hear that. And
Mm-hmm.
now I tell her I have a new speech, a good husband speech.
There you go. I love it, Calvin. I
you know,
love
so I'm practicing trying to be that. I don't want to meet someone and now I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually at this point, at this current point in my life, I'm doing the things that it takes to try to be a good husband. So when
Yeah.
I do meet that queen, when God does bring that woman into my life, we don't have to try to figure it out. I don't need to get my number two pencil when the test started already or my notes because then
Yeah.
I'm going to do some things.
Yeah.
So I'm practicing every day trying
Mhm.
to be that person.
I love that. And I think we do manifest things with our words. If you guys are just tuning in, well, first of all, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Make sure you do all of those simultaneously. On this broadcast. We are back. This is Ready to Love Miami, our very first conversation. And what a great start to this season. We have Calvin hanging out with us. And we're going to give Calvin stats. Calvin is 45. He is in Miami. He has no children. He is ready for his queen. And he is waiting and preparing himself, which is what we all should be doing until that person comes into our life. Miss Boss asks, Calvin, what is your definition of love, sir?
Wow, definition of love. As I mentioned earlier, a person that just loves themselves.
Mhm.
Again, I know what it looks like because I know what it felt like when I didn't love myself. I
Yeah.
was dating people and being with people that because I was shallow, because I was insecure, I was
Okay.
meeting people that was similar to who I was. My pastor used to say this. He'd be like, it's a container with no content.
Mm.
So I wanted the pretty girl, and then
Yeah.
I would look at her. I wanted all the pretty girls because I was so insecure. And then I would look at her and be like, "What's wrong with her?" Meanwhile, the common denominator was me.
Wow. I hope a lot of men are watching this, women as well. But that's huge to hear a man acknowledge that.
Yeah,
That's huge, Calvin.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So it wasn't them; it was me. Because at the end of the day, whether it was Lisa, whether it was Angela, whether it was Renee, it was Calvin.
There you go. Wow, Calvin, I'm almost like, are you? This is we need to go ahead and get you back on another season of Ready to Love. This is good. This is good quality King going, just that we didn't get a chance to see play out. I think that would have been great for the show because I think people watch this just in all seriousness, people watch this show to give them hope for their own lives, right? A lot of times, especially once we get to a certain point in life, it can seem very dismal because you may have been through negative relationships, have been hurt, everybody around you is going crazy. And I think people watch, yes, it's entertaining, but there's also a little bit of hope that you want. You want to believe that there is, amazing men and amazing women out there that truly do want to find love. So that's why I really hope that we get a chance to hear more. I hope this is not the last that we're going to hear of Calvin. So we did have another question, Calvin. What do you think is appropriate, I guess, for a relationship? Should a man pay all the bills or a bill or two?
What was the last part of that?
Pay all the bills or a bill or two? Where do you weigh in on that conversation?
I believe in gender roles, right? I believe in that. But I believe in the gender roles that fits that particular relationship.
There you go.
Right? So I believe in that, as a man, you should be a provider. You
Mm-hmm.
should be able to protect, all of that. I do believe in that. But
Okay.
I also believe that it's a partnership, right? Don't deplete that person,
Yeah.
whether it's a man or a woman. Refill them to make sure that that makes them want to do it. So
Mhm.
whatever works for that person, whoever is doing it and able to do it, I believe that's how it should be shared. It should
Okay.
be a shared partnership. However that goes.
Mhm.
And I don't think one person should do it. For example, I'm a person that loves to cook. So
Mhm.
I don't expect my wife to be in the kitchen all the time because she's a woman.
Mhm.
Right?
Mhm.
That is something that I enjoy doing.
Okay.
So I can step into that role and take
Mhm.
care of those things, because it may works in the dynamics of our relationship.
Yes, I love that. Calvin, what's your favorite dish to cook? What is your specialty?
Wow. I love to make steak.
Okay.
Um, my steak falls off the bone. Um, I love to make empanadas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
empanadas with some Spanish rice. So those are usually my go-to.
Okay. Either
You
steak
know,
or a little Miami caliente
yeah.
empanadas. Okay. All right. With the little exotic dish there, at least the The well, I guess Miami has a lot of different cultures. It's like a cultural melting pot there. So
Yes. Crystal, you said something I thought was very interesting. If you don't mind if I chime in on that.
of course.
You spoke about ready to love,
Mm,
and I think there's a difference between wanting love and being ready to love.
right.
And talking about the show. And sometimes what happens is that although you may meet people that may want something, they may not be ready for it. So
Mm-hmm.
although you may bring something to the table, if they function better in their dysfunction, they may not be able to receive it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's true.
So although you may see yourself as this person that brings something good, sometimes people are more comfortable in chaos.
That is so true. That and especially I think it kind of goes with what you said earlier. If you haven't seen something,
Mm,
you don't know what that looks like, and what may be familiar to you
mm,
may be the chaos,
yeah.
right? Because if you haven't seen a healthy relationship, if everybody around you has been, scamming each other, or taking advantage of each other, cheating on each other, and then you meet somebody who is treating you very different than what you've seen, you could reject that because
Mm,
it's unfamiliar to you, you
yeah.
know? And
My
I've
pastor,
heard that happen on both sides. I have a lot of guy friends. I always have. And a lot of them are like, they'll complain about things,
mm,
but I'm like, but you keep picking the same woman,
yeah,
right? You want a boss chick, you want an independent career woman that's at the top of her game. And when you get with her and you're not on that level, she's unhappy. And then guess what? Now you're angry because you're like, she doesn't respect me. You keep doing this over and over and over. And I think what it is often we don't know what it feels like to
mm,
really just be loved, to really just, to look at someone and not be trying to figure out what can I get from you.
yes,
That's
yes,
the biggest thing. It's like both sides are like, well, she got to be fine and she got to submit. But, sir, you're not ready to have someone submit to you.
yeah, yeah.
You're not
Fact.
even ready for that. You don't even really understand what that means. And on the same token, we hear a lot on social media. He got to get this. He got to bring that. He got to give me this, give me that. But you're not ready for a man to truly love you.
Yeah.
You're expecting someone to throw gifts at you, but not understanding that someone that wants a true connection and wants to go back and forth, you just want to be, spoiled with gifts so you can post on Instagram. And
Yeah.
I think we're not used to, a lot of times, if we haven't seen it, we haven't been around it, right?
Mm,
The
mm,
circle of our people, a circle of our friends are constantly, putting negative and chaotic and dysfunction. That becomes your norm. That
mm.
becomes your comfort zone.
Yes, yes. My pastor used to say you're programmed for abuse,
Mm,
right? So
yeah,
if you're programmed for abuse, that's what you're used to receiving. So
yeah,
you gravitate more towards that
right,
rather than, like you said, somebody filling your tank with something that can uplift you. You're waiting for that thing. And
yeah.
the more you wait for it, you're like, it could not rain for 7 days. And then the eighth day, you're like, I told you it was gonna rain, but you didn't see for 7 days it didn't rain. So
Yeah.
you were waiting for that moment for something to happen. So you have to have the capacity to be able to receive it. And a
Mhm.
lot of times, because of being in abusive relationships, being coming back from, whatever, what you saw, sometimes you don't have the capacity to love. You don't
Right.
have the capacity to receive what somebody's trying to give you.
Mhm.
And I could say that because I used to identify with that. I've had people come into my life, whether it was relationships, as in personal relationships, romantic relationships, where they wanted to pour into me, but I
Mhm.
was rejecting it
Yeah.
because I didn't understand what that meant. I was like, "What you want?"
Yeah.
It's, you
Yeah.
know,
That's
so
it. I think as a woman, I remember I was having a conversation with some girlfriends. We were all talking, and one of the girls like, I don't like when guys are thirsty. He just wants to be up under me all the time and calling me all the time. And one of our guy friends was there, and he was looking at us like we were crazy. He said, if a guy is not thirsty, he's not really into you. Because he said we have two modes. Either we like you for real, or it's something that we're playing with and we're not serious. So while these women were thinking the guy that's kind of elusive, kind of standoffish, that was what everybody was going after. And he was like, that guy is not really into you,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah, and that's sad sometimes. Again, being able to receive it when
Yeah.
somebody is giving it to you, and like the love languages, it's important to be able to fill that person's tank with what they want, not what you think you want to
Yeah.
give them.
Yeah. It's
Because
hard
then
as a
what the
listener.
world
You
Yeah,
got to
they're number one,
listen.
maybe they're number five.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and now we have a conflict because that person is saying you're being selfish because I'm giving it to you, and that other person is saying, well, that's not what I want.
Yeah. Yeah. That's maturity, listening, learning how to be out, listen to what the other person wants. So Calvin, one episode we lost you from the show. We're hoping that you're going to come back, but what has your life been like since taping the show? Have you been dating? Are you hunting, not hunting? What's happening? What's happening in your life right now?
I've been low key. Honestly, I've been trying to keep it real low key. It was a lot, and I don't think things happen to you. I think it happens for you,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? So I had to take some time and take a step back because by the grace of God, my mother's good, right? I love
Good.
her. But
Good.
I also believe that what did I come away with that? So
Mhm.
at this point, I'm in like separation and preparation mode,
Mm. Okay.
right? Trying to figure out what it is. And maybe there was some things I needed to work on.
Yeah.
Maybe there were some things that I needed to learn about myself that I thought, and and I'm always trying to evolve. Change is inevitable,
Yeah.
but evolving is optional.
Mm.
Right? So at the end of the day, I'm trying to make sure what do I need to learn from that. So I've actually just been taking a step back, taking
Mhm.
it easy because I know with a lot of these shows you get a lot. Right? A lot of things start coming your way once they start seeing you, and things like that. And I love it. I love the love. I appreciate it all the time. But I don't want to get so. I think Biggie said it best. I don't want to get high on my own supply.
There you go. Calvin is quoting the Bible, and we have to also go back to the New York finest. I love it. I love a versatile man. That's great. Got to be and Biggie. That means he is cultured and he's mature. I love it. I love it. So Calvin, outside of that, I do want to ask you this: when you watched that episode, I talked about Devin and Sean. What was your thoughts on some of the issues with the ladies? Because we do know, like I asked you about the deliberation with Sharice and Tanika. What were your thoughts on that? Just those interactions that you saw. I don't know if you saw them when you were there. And what were your thoughts on the two ladies that were in the bottom on the first episode?
Yeah, I did feel some of that strong energy from Sharice. I felt that.
Okay.
I could tell that she was a very strong woman,
Hmm.
very, you know, headstrong
Yeah,
on what she looked for. So when I did see everything that unfolded, I was just like, damn,
I was
wow.
right.
Yeah. I
My
was like, it just confirmed what I already knew.
yeah.
It confirmed what I already knew. Some men like that though.
Yes, as Devin said.
Yes.
Mhm.
Some men are into that. So I don't knock it.
Okay. Okay.
That doesn't line up with who I am as a person.
Gotcha.
you
Gotcha.
know. But so when I did see that, I'm I don't like people bringing other people down. I don't like people talking negative about other people. That bothers me. If that may not be for you, or she may not be somebody that may be somebody you want to hang out with, then so
Hmm.
be it. Let her
Right.
be. Because we all have things that somebody may look. I love to laugh, and somebody may look at me and be like, "Yo, you laugh too much.
Yeah.
You bring too much good energy." Everything ain't for everybody.
Right. Right.
But similar to what she said, I'm not trying to give the women chances. I'm trying to give the men chances. That was one of her comments.
Yeah.
So if that is the case, then give her a chance with the men. You don't need to comment on that.
Right. Yeah. Because she said I don't give not give second chance for women, but you're right. But I wonder, does how a woman treats other women factor into how you see her?
I think it depends on the man, right?
Mhm.
Because for some men, they're not looking at certain values and certain morals. They're looking at certain body parts and certain financial, and sometimes your rope gets a little longer if you look a
Yeah.
certain way or if your bank account is a certain way.
Yeah.
But like you said,
True.
when you're dealing with a man, when you're dealing with a king, you look at because if you treat the waiter a certain way, it's only a matter of time before you treat me that way. The
Absolutely.
only reason you don't treat me that way is because I'm giving you something.
There you go, Calvin. You bet just all an hour long of wisdom and I love it. But that's true. I think when I see situations like that, you think there are some men that's like, I don't care how she treats other people. I only care how she treats me. But how she's treating other people is because there's nothing to lose. How you treat someone that you have that they can't give you anything is a true testament to your character.
Right.
So, and the fact that you see that and have the foresight to understand that is huge. It's
Mm.
huge. Now, what about Dominica? Because she was a little loud. I think a little loud,
She was. All right. But she also, I felt like it was just real,
yeah.
right? I felt like that was just who she was as a person. And
Hmm.
I don't care who you are, as long as you're you. If
Yeah.
this is who you are, be you. And again, someone else may, and I can't remember who, I think it was Justin. I think he said it. Like, listen, she was just real. This is who she is as a person. And
Yeah.
I respect that more than somebody being something else. And then later on, I have to find out this ain't really you. And I
Right.
start peeling back the layers. I'm like, whoa, who's that?
Yeah.
So now I feel like I'm cheating because I'm dating three different people that look like you but acting differently. Trying to
Right.
understand.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
No, that's real. Last question for you tonight. Well, second to last question. I did not. What do you do for a living? Like, what's your occupation?
I work in the legal field, so I'm a contract manager for an aviation simulator company.
Okay.
Yeah, so we buy simulators and we put them all over the world, airline simulators, and we put them all over the world. So I deal in the legal field of that. Anytime we buy a simulator or we buy a building, I'm a part of
Okay.
it.
Nice. Well, Calvin, it has been a joy. You literally have set this season off. I was saying earlier, I'm excited about Miami. I think that we've got some mature people, some people that are really not here just to be on television, which I get, that's a part of it, but actually truly are genuine. And you definitely have shown us that. Hopefully, we will get a chance to see more from you later. I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed that we can figure out something. Maybe now they can put you on another season. They did 2 seasons with DC and Potomac. So
Hmm.
maybe there's an opportunity. I mean, go to Orlando or something. Go someplace so we can get Calvin back for another season. We also had KJ from Houston got another chance when they did Houston the second time. So hey, I'm gonna hold out and just hope that we get a chance to welcome you back, Calvin, because we need to see a man that has the wisdom that you've shared with us tonight navigate the waters of Ready to Love. Be able to articulate it. And like I said, maybe if you don't go on the show, maybe you can assist Tommy with the help in the gentleman's lounge. Tommy does a great job of really being honest and holding the men accountable. But I love some of the things that you've said tonight. Latanya says, I hate Calvin wasn't voted off. He had to leave because of a family emergency. And it was our loss because we definitely would have benefited from being able to see things play out. But as you said, things happen for a reason and they happen for you. So I'm sure this is not going to be the last time that we see Calvin. So let people know how they can, if you want people to get in touch with you. I'm sure there's some ladies in the chat that were saying that you all need to be cooking together. Uh, how can people follow you and keep up with all that good relationship advice that you just shared with us tonight?
Well, Crystal, I do have when I was in New York, I was doing a forum called The Truth. So I plan on doing something different called King's Talk at the King's Table, with a bunch of amazing men that if you think I bring it, they bring it. They bring it. Because similar to what you're saying, this is not only something men needs to hear, I need to hear it too
Yeah.
from the people I surround myself with. So, Calvin underscore King underscore Garvey. That's my tag name on IG. So,
Okay.
like you said, hope something will come out of it. I look forward to it.
Absolutely. Well, I definitely would love to have you. We do relationship conversations here in Atlanta. We have one coming up October 22nd that I'm super excited about called Love Virtually. And it basically
Ooh.
is a conversation of how people can actually successfully go from love on reality TV to real life.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
So Marie says there's no mature people, but I think Calvin just proved us wrong. Calvin was mature and are ready to love. And actually, we do have to give a huge congratulations to Dakia from Ready to Love, Potomac. She actually just got engaged.
Oh,
We know
wow.
that from Houston, Simone and Rashid got engaged. And they were actually on the show. They connected later, and then she actually was sent home, but they hooked up later, and their relationship is so cute. He proposed, and they're actually going to be guests of mine here
Oh, wow.
Atlanta in
Love
October.
it.
So you guys stay tuned. There's so much coming in. We're definitely going to have to stay in touch with Calvin and have him come be a part of that. We're going to do Love Virtually quarterly here in Atlanta at ATL, which is a really dope tapas bar here that has amazing food. And we're going to, have couples come out and get dressed up and hear some positivity. So you guys stay tuned for that. Calvin, thank you so much for a great beginning to Ready to Love Miami. You set the tone. So
Thank you so much, Crystal. You're amazing. Thank you for this interview. I appreciate it.
thank you. We look forward to keeping up with you. Have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out. What a great conversation on this Monday. So much crazy stuff happening in the news. I don't know if you guys have seen what's happening. We see Neo's wife, Crystal, came out with a huge announcement that they're getting divorced because of infidelity, all kinds of stuff. So having a conversation like this was definitely positive. I think we need to hear positive things that keeps us hopeful. And, hopefully we'll get a chance to see Calvin come back on Ready to Love, because Ready to Love could definitely use a guy with that type of insight. But we're right here. We're just getting started. We're locked in. Next Monday, another cast member from Ready to Love is going to join us, guys. I think I'm not gonna say who we're gonna have. I'm gonna keep you guys surprised. Tune in next Monday at 9 for more Ready to Love Miami. And remember, you can always watch the recap on OWN at 12 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. EST on OWN's YouTube channel. And of course, you're going to be able to see it right here as well later in the week. But check it out. Kojo and I are recapping every single scene, going through, peeling back the layers, getting all up in that Kool-Aid. And I'm excited. We're here for a whole nother season. We just got started. Miami's off to a good start. Well, I hope you guys are off to a good week. This has been your host, Crystal Jordan. If you have not liked, shared, and subscribed this broadcast, I don't know what you're waiting on. Please make sure that you do that now, and I will see you guys next time. All right? Have a great night.